I've been asked recently by a lot of customers, what am I going to do to improve my archery? I want to become a good shot. What am I going to do? So I wanted to produce this little video and just go through what I've done with my archery in the past year. Now, I've been shooting since I was 12, and people think, oh, that's why you're a good archer. Actually, it's not. Like a year ago, so if I go back 1 year, I wasn't really shooting a recurve. So the recurve to me is a new bit of gear, and you might say, well, compound, leads across to recurve, and it does to a degree. However, when I swapped to recurve, I had a plan, and I had some goals, and I had steps to follow to basically improve my score. So with shooting recurve or compound, so a year ago with my compound, I was shooting indoors about 290. I considered a good score, and I was happy to shoot 290 out of 300 with a compound, and I was happy with that score. In fact, I was probably happy with a 287. Now, right now, I'm shooting 299s out of 300 pretty consistently, and I've been shooting a couple of 300s. So, like 2 nights ago when I shot perfect ends so I have 20 ends of 3 arrows. Every end was perfect except for one end. And basically with the recurve, it's pretty much the same. I had a plan. When I started recurve, I started with 32 pounds, and Win and Win said to me that you've got to build up to 45 pounds to shoot competitive. So I set myself goals, and I said, well, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to shoot arrows, and I'm going to shoot a set score. Now, what I did was I found I fatigued with the recurve. The more I shot, the worse my scores got. So what I did is I started shooting arrows, and when I say arrows, volume arrows. So I would shoot 30 arrows every day, and then I built that up to 60 arrows a day. And then basically the bow became lighter for me to shoot. So basically I stopped fatiguing. Instead of shooting 6 arrow ends, now I'm shooting 12 arrow ends. So instead of my 6 arrow I'm fatiguing on, I'm now fatiguing on about my 10th and 11th arrow in the end. So now I can shoot 6 arrows without fatigue. So with this I had a plan. So I started with 32 pounds, and that's basically about 6 months ago. And I found I fatigued after about 60 arrows. Now I've been building myself up. I then jumped to a 36 pound bow, 38 pound bow, and this bow is now 45 pounds, and I struggled with this bow when I first got it even 4 weeks ago. Right now I've shot my best scores with this bow. This is a PSE Expression or X-Appeal riser. So I shot my best scores with this bow last week. So I've beaten my other scores with this bow. And the same with the compound. And what it gets back to is practice. Shoot lots of arrows morning and night. And when I say morning and night, I shoot right now, like this morning I shot 60 arrows, 70 arrows. Tonight I'm going to shoot probably another 90, 100 arrows. And I do part of it with compound, part of it with recurve. Now, you don't want to fatigue yourself. And when I say fatigue yourself, you don't want to go in and say, right, I'm going to shoot 100 arrows a day. See yourself little milestones, and say, look, I'm going to shoot 30 arrows a day. I'm going to try and do that every single day, 7 days a week. 7 days a week, 30 arrows, that's 210 arrows. If you can shoot 210 arrows a week, you're probably shooting twice as much as most other people in the state. Now, if you can do that, you're going to start to improve. Then when I say don't score all the time, because you don't want to put pressure on yourself, score occasionally. When I started with the recurve, my goal was to put 6 arrows in the goal. And I go back to when I was a beginner, it took me 3 weeks to hit the gold on the target. And when I hit the gold, I was so excited. I ran upstairs to the guy in the canteen and said, I hit the gold. And he didn't look very excited for me. Now, for me, it was a big deal. The first time I shot an all gold, I was like, yeah. Now, I just shot a tournament on the weekend. It was a state field championship, so I shot it with a compound. And I shot a personal best of 388. My personal best before that was 366. Now, for me, at the shoot, I saw a lot of people were really sad. And when I say sad, some were crying and some were upset. For me, if I have a bad shoot and I'm not shooting well, when I say it doesn't worry me, it's probably not the right terminology. I kind of expect it. And when I say I expect to have a bad shoot, that's part of the course. Some days you'll shoot well and some days you won't. But what you're looking for is a gradual overall improvement. So if you don't have a good shoot for the day, you just go concentrate on one arrow at a time and go, look, my other arrows haven't been good. Let's see if we can finish off strong. Let's see if I can do 1 or 2 good shots and put them in the gold. Let's see if I can finish off strong. Let's see if I can keep 3 arrows in the gold. Let's see if I can, and you set yourself little goals throughout the shoot. Even though you might not be shooting well through the shoot, set yourself little goals. Now for me and my archery, with compound, on the weekend, it was the first time I beat an archer, a particular archer in this state. It was the first time. So one of my goals was to beat him. Now I've tied with him several times. We shot the same score at the Nationals. We shot the same score, but I've actually never beat him. On the weekend, I beat him. Now, and that wasn't one of my goals. It was like, well, actually, he is one of the top shooters in the state, and when I finally get there, that will be good to physically beat him and score. But part of it was, look, there's the score I've shot. I've shot 366. I want to shoot better than that. My aim is to shoot a 400 for a field course score, and halfway through the course of 12 targets, my score was 202. So I was actually well above my expectations. Then I had a couple, fatigue set in because it was an extremely hot day, and I started to shake a little bit because my blood sugar levels would have been dropping, my water levels were dropping. Do you know what? That's part of it, and everyone else on that course was having the same issues. So I'm not making excuses for myself. It's part of what I expect. Now, I don't also pat myself on the back when I do well, and you might say you do or don't. But for me, this is a journey, and I'm starting off at whatever step I'm at, and I'm trying to improve. Now, for me, like even the score that I shot on the weekend, where I got second at the championships, at the state championships, to me, that's part of the journey of improving towards the 400. So the fact that I came second, let's say 2 other people beat me and they shot 400. Let's say 5 people beat me and shot 400s. Does it affect my score? No, I still shot really, really good arrows at a number of targets. So it doesn't worry me where I place. In fact, let's just say things went bad, I still focus on arrow after arrow. And it's the amount of work I put in before the event. Before the event, I was shooting really, really good indoor arrows in my indoor range here. I shot a 300 2 days before. I was shooting consistently good arrows. So I came in on a high to the tournament. I'd been practicing lots. I mean, I had some family issues. So I actually cut my practice down. But before that, I'd been putting in maybe 150, 160 hours a day, 4 hours, 5 hours a day practice, leading up to that event. So part of it is put the hard work in, see what the results are, and the reason you shoot a tournament is to verify yourself that you are at that level. So with the recurve right now, so after the event, I was absolutely stuffed. I'd been shooting for 6 hours. In the heat, 35 degrees, and I was completely dehydrated. After the event, I went home, I had a rest, I came back and shot the recurve for 60 arrows at night time. So, because for me, if I want to become better and I want to become the top recurve archer in the state, and I'm going to say I'm kind of close to it right now, but my scores would indicate that I'm pretty close to it right now. I've actually got to get better. I've actually got to improve and basically cement myself. So my scores I need, I go, this is what I need to get to, but this is how much work I've got to put in to get those scores. Now, once I get those scores, then it's like, well, where do I now rank in Australia? And you go, well, let's say I rank number 10. Well, maybe I need to put some more work in. Maybe I need to do some more cardio. Maybe I'll do some more weightlifting. Maybe I'll just track my progress for another month and see how I'm going. So this is what's going through my head. It's gradual improvement to peg myself towards one of the top positions. Now, as a beginner, because most people watch these videos as beginners, you're not pegging yourself against the top. You're actually pegging yourself against where your scores are. So you say, well, look, this is my current score. This is how I shoot. It may be like when I was shooting recurve here, I don't want to shoot a blue. I don't want to shoot an arrow in the blue. I want to keep all my arrows in the blue. Right now, I'm going, well, actually, I want to try and keep all my arrows in the gold shooting recurve. And I don't shoot too far a distance because I don't want to lose confidence. I want to concentrate on technique. So you take little steps towards a greater goal. And basically, work pays off. The more you shoot, the more you practice, the better you'll get. And I cannot stress it enough. You know, all the kids that I used to be state coach, all the kids I trained who became Australian champions, they just shot more than everyone else in Australia. We trained Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, Saturday, Sunday. We trained 4 nights a week. I made the kids practice at home, shoot 30 arrows or 60 arrows a night. They were training 7 days a week. I can guarantee no other state was doing that. And those kids came through, they shot all the Australian records, and they became Australian champions. Now, basically, if you want to do it, start off, don't set yourself saying, look, I'm going to shoot 4 arrows a day. Just say, look, I'm going to shoot 30 arrows, and then monitor your progress, because you'll still improve with 30 arrows, and you won't burn yourself out. And the problem with going, I'm going to shoot 4 hours a day, your muscles cannot take it. You have to build yourself up slowly. Like my fingers, I went through all sorts of problems with my fingers. I went through all sorts of problems with my muscles in my back, developing up to the 45 pounds. So to me, it's been gradual. And you don't want to hurt your hand, you don't want to hurt your fingers, you don't want to hurt your body. So it's all gradual. It's like I'm going to put it in terms of running a marathon. I'm not a marathon runner by any stretch, but to run a marathon, it's about taking steps. You'll start off and you say, look, I want to run 100 meters, then I want to run 200 meters, then I want to run 300, then I want to run 1 kilometer. Same thing with archery. Start off small, work your way up, set yourself goals, milestones, and pat yourself on the back as you go. You don't need other people going, look, you're doing well. Set yourself those goals, and your goals at the end. Some people have said to me, I want to shoot in the Olympics. To me, that is too big a goal. Like it's little steps. You want to say, look, I want to keep my arrows in the gold. And then when you start feeling comfortable, go and shoot some competitions to peg yourself to make sure you can shoot those scores in a competition sense. Like the scores I shoot here, practicing, you've got to make sure you can shoot those when it comes to a tournament, when you're under extra pressure. So when I shoot here, my best score prior to the Nationals, indoor shooting recurve, was a 275. At the Nationals, I shot 276. So I wasn't affected by the competition at the Nationals. In fact, I tend to shoot a little bit better under competition just because I'm finding a little bit more focus. Here, I drift off, but it's the hard work before the tournament which is going to pay off. So I hope that's helped you. Obviously, there's bits about tuning your bow and selecting the right arrows, especially with recurve. Now, with compound, I'm just going to say, people say, look, I can't tune my bow. And there's a certain degree about that. But prior to shooting the competition, I just shot on the weekend where I smashed my personal best, and I shot 300s, this week. My bow, when I paper tuned it, did not paper tune. And the reason it didn't paper tune is because I upped my poundage. And I upped my poundage because I'm getting stronger, I'm shooting more, and I'm going, well, look, if I want to shoot in the wind, I want to have an edge, I'm going to up my poundage. Now, I upped my poundage, and basically what it did was made my arrows slightly too weaker spined. And it's 2 pounds. I basically upped my poundage. So I was getting a paper tear about that big. Now, it didn't affect my scores. It didn't affect any of my results. My results are as good as they've ever been. So it comes back to practice. And even with the expression, when I first got it, I didn't paper tune it, I just shot it. I just shot it and shot it and shot it and shot it and shot the scores. And my scores gradually improved as my body and as my shooting became better. Now, there are exceptions to that rule. If your bow's not set up correctly, if you've got the wrong arrows, especially with a recurve, if the arrows are not correct, things aren't going to happen for you. But if you get the arrows right and the bow's mildly okay, and when I say mildly okay, if sometimes you can shoot them in the gold, then you basically always be able to shoot them in the gold. But for me, the most important thing is shooting. The more you shoot, the more you build yourself up, and commitment, being able to get there and do it every day, even though you don't want to. Come in at night time and shoot, even though you don't want to, even though you want to sit down and watch TV. It's a really, really hard thing to do. But that's my bit of advice. And go and give it a shot. There's lots of people who watch my videos who are doing really, really well. Congratulations to you for doing really, really well. And give it a go. For me, it's really rewarding to put the time in, get the results. I mean, my improvement in a year has been huge. And that's just through basically putting the time in. So I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Enjoy your archery, and hopefully whether it's recurve or compound, you put the time in and it works out for you. Thank you. Bye.